Hello everyone and welcome back to Game Week 2 of the 25-26 Slater and Gordon Championship, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple, alongside Ben Rogers for a fascinating fixture, it must be said. GBG Saracens versus Manchester City. A battle towards the bottom of the standings, and one that could prove crucial come season's end. Let's go through the squads quickly before we bring you the action live. GBG Saracens have Aaron Ebanks, Avery Bazin-Ball, Fred Boddy, Jack Ebanks, Tommy Mickelson, Ollie Grafton and Adam Sevenoaks. And for Manchester City, coming off the back of their biggest ever National League win yesterday afternoon against Hull and East Yorkshire, they have Jay Pixton, James Simpson, Kareem Ali, Lucas Veza O'Brien, Seb Spink, Oscar Spink and Stephen Miller-Whittaker. Give me your thoughts on this one, Ben.
I think in this game, City will probably have more of the possession, I reckon. Just from seeing, I was commentating on the game yesterday against Hull, and they seem to have quite a lot of the possession, and definitely their defence is very good. But I have played against GBG Saracens as well in the Regionals League, and they are very good in scoring. Their defence is okay, but I think they always seem to get a goal. So
Yeah,
they're a little bit their attacking is better, I would say, than their defence.
yeah, an interesting one. I mean, they've conceded more goals than anyone else in the division, 26, which they're going to want to address, because teams towards the bottom, yourself included, with Nottingham Forest, you've really shored up that defence. I don't necessarily consider your 5-0 defeat to Villa a few seconds ago. The fact that you are only being beaten 1-0 by the likes of Nottinghamshire and Leeds Dynamos, it shows a clear development in your game, in your team's performances across the last few seasons, and hopefully for you that will prove the difference come season's end. We know Manchester City are so solid defensively. They've only conceded 7 goals this season to GBG Saracens 26, and I have to say, you're playing them later today. How much of that success that Manchester City have is down to Jay Pixton? Because he is just a sensational player, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday I gave him player of the match in the whole game, because he seems to be everywhere. He can play in goal, he played in the middle, he played on the wing, he come all the way from the goal all the way up and play wherever he's needed. And in the defence, he's rarely ever lets a goal in. He knows where the ball's going to go. He can kind of predict exactly where the ball's going to go, and it's really hard to get the ball past him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if Manchester City come out today with some really favourable points and performances, for me, Jay Pixton is the standout player of the weekend. Man City started with a 1-1 draw against Villa. We've seen what they've gone on to do. It's an incredible point when you think about it. It was a 1-0 defeat to Nottinghamshire, which is far from disappointing, because we know the heights that they can hit. And then it was that 4-0 win over Hull and East Yorkshire, where he actually got on the score sheet. So can they build on that result? Can GBG Saracens register their first point of the season? They have the players to do it. There's no question. I've really liked Tommy Mickelson in the games in which I've watched them. Fred Boddy, marking his National League debut in Game Week 2, has been fantastic as well. It's just that rotation and those wing options which haven't necessarily been able to connect with that solid defensive base. But Pete Westmoreland kicks proceedings off here at Lee Westwood Sports Centre. GBG Saracens versus Manchester City. The question is, for Manchester City here, they're typically such a stubborn defensive team. They're happy to absorb a lot of attacking pressure. Will we see them take this game to GBG Saracens, really look to win the game? That is the question.
Yeah, I definitely think City are more likely to want to press on, especially after their win against Hull yesterday. They might still have that confidence to get a good game and attack a lot more than they probably would against higher up the table teams.
So the squads that start: Fred Body, Tommy Mickelson, Jack Ebanks, Adam Sevenoaks, and for Manchester City they have Jay Pixton, Oscar Spink, Lucas Veza O'Brien and Kareem Ali. As it just ricochets off Tommy Mickelson, he has to be careful of those. Oscar Spink, fantastic at his chair positioning. He kind of reads the trajectory of the ball, so ensures that ball is being fired towards the opposition goal rather than his own.
Yeah, when you do those spins, you need to make sure you're not going to put them in your own net.
Fred Body has responsibility. Lucas Vez O'Brien is primed to intercept, as he does, closing down the option on the left. Both have strong benches, should they wish to use them. As it into Tommy Mickelson, out to Adam Sevenoaks, who just swipes across the ball, looking for Jack Ebanks on the alternate wing. Huge thank you to everyone that's tuning in. Get your predictions and comments in the YouTube chat.
The kick into City. Just managing to get the deflection there.
Oscar Spink, just off of Adam Sevenoaks. When I did watch GBG Saracens yesterday, I did feel they were far braver when they had Tommy Mickelson in the centre, but then I felt they were more defensively sound when they had Avery Basing-Ball there, so it's clearly a system they're working on, they're fine-tuning to find the best.
Yeah, they're such a new team and a young team. They're bound to have some issues at the start, but once they get those cleared up, I'm sure they'll start getting those points they need.
Yeah, I said it on commentary yesterday. I don't think they will really put a great deal of expectations on their season. The ultimate objective is to grow together, to get up to the pace of this division, as you'll know, Ben. It's fairly relentless. The quality of the championship in recent years just seems to skyrocket.
Yeah.
There's no easy games at all, no matter where you are in the standings. That's just come off Lucas Vez O'Brien towards the City goal.
I think all the teams have just got better, and all the teams getting better are getting better together. So it's like there's always going to be that battle from bottom to top, and any team can really make a difference.
The real question mark when we was highlighting Jay Pixton, he's almost certain to be out for game weeks 3, 4 and 5 as he undergoes surgery. How do City acclimatise without him? He is so important. When we reference Powerchair Football, of course it's a 4-a-side format. If you look at all the top teams, a lot of them are relying on particular individuals for the way they play. Off the top of my head, you think of years gone by, John Bolden with Aspire, Chris Gordon with West Brom. Jay Pixton, relatively speaking, plays just as important a role with Manchester City, the way they shape up, the way they perform, as some top players. So it's going to be a real reshuffle for them. But his health, his fitness is paramount, and he's got an incredibly bright future. So even if he misses the rest of this season, I have no doubt he'll be watching constantly and will slot back in seamlessly. But
yeah, I think City might struggle, but I think it will. They've still got the players to replace him for when he's not here. They might have struggle a little bit more with their defence, but I think they've got plenty of players to fit that role whilst he's unavailable.
Yeah, one thing that has been highlighted in the chat, which I did comment on yesterday, is the fact that most of their players are now competing in strike forces. So Jay, Oscar, Seb, James, for the first time playing in top chairs, and that's why you've seen them really compete with the best now. It's a level playing field. other iterations of the chairs do a very capable job, but as I'm sure you can attest, Ben, the strike force just puts you on a level playing field.
You just seem to be able to hit the ball, or the speed, and I mean, they've all been speed tested, but it just feels more sturdy.
When did you transition to a strike force, and from what chair, or have you gone straight into a strike force?
I think I had a bullet before.
How quickly did you get up to, like, the pace of the strike force? Did it take a few weekends, a few games, or was it kind of a seamless transition from bullet to strike force?
Because I never played in the bullet too long. I was pretty much bullet, and then probably after my first season I played in a strike force, so it wasn't that hard, but it did feel different.
Into Jack Ebanks, who looks for that gap. So nearly finds it. It's been a fairly even opening 7 minutes. Nothing.
No massive chances yet.
No, exactly what I was going to go on to say. No clear-cut opportunities anyway.
It feels like a very stop-starty game at the moment. Lots of kick-ins, lots of goal kicks.
I think both of these teams know what's at stake, and these are the games that register the most credible opportunities to get points, to get themselves away from the more jeopardy spots at the bottom. So there will be elements of nerves and anticipation, but once we get that first goal or we get into the second half, I think those nerves will ease up and we'll see the quality shine through as Jay Pixton advances well up. And that's, I think that's a conscious decision from the coaches. We're seeing Oscar Spink stay really deep because I suspect he will be the one wearing that green goalkeeper jersey when Jay is unavailable. It's a good opportunity this for Manchester City. Lucas Fraser-O'Brien with the corner ball. Kareem Ali just in front of myself and Ben. Will Jay act as that screen? Goes into the front of him, doesn't have the initial accuracy.
Ooh, not quite.
Tommy Mickelson clears for GBG Saracens. One thing I had to say, the support of GBG Saracens has been absolutely fantastic. I think a lot of these players and parents and siblings are experiencing National League football for the first time, and that is a really great experience. Just something about the National League, isn't there, Ben?
Yeah.
You obviously contribute to our commentary at the Premiership. Both divisions are special.
Yeah, all the games are fun to watch. You never really get bored. You always really... It's just such a good game to watch.
Exactly, and a lot of people ask me, because I tend to do all available games on commentary, certainly for one particular court. Do I not get bored? Do I not get tired? I just feed off the energy of the games, and we're at a position now where there's very few dull or drab games in the National League, the Premiership or the Championship. There's intrigue, there's stories, there's quality wherever you look.
Even 0-0 games, there's so much happening in them.
Exactly. As Jack Ebanks down to Adam Sevenoaks across the court to Tommy Mickelson. Doesn't necessarily set to best capitalise, but they're putting the pressure on Oscar Spink and Jay Pixton. Probably the best opportunity we've seen for either of these two to score all game, but as has been the case for the whole season, Man City's defence superb. It's just at what point do they start to risk that defensive wall for some sort of attacking success? Because it's always kind of been one or the other for City. There's no in between. Tommy Mickelson just reverses into it, out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, I definitely think City should probably maybe try and get a goal earlier, and then they can maybe sit back a little bit. Obviously, the way they play is defensively, but against a team like Saracens, maybe they should be attacking a little bit more. Try something different.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch their win over Hull and East Yorkshire. If anyone did and are tuning in via the YouTube chat, let us know, kind of, were they really attacking?
Yeah, I was commentating on that match.
Was you?
So
So did they really attack it, or did they get maybe an early goal and then they exploited Hull trying to get back into it?
Yeah, they managed to get quite an early goal, and then Hull kind of they had two really high wingers, so they kind of their middle player was always a one against maybe two players, and they couldn't really get the passes up the pitch.
Yeah.
To where City were able to get it down, and they got quite a few set pieces which they were able to capitalise on.
Tommy Mickelson with a good opportunity into Jack Ebanks across the box, cleared by Oscar Spink. The follow-up effort ricochets kindly to Lucas Vez-O'Brien. Doesn't really have the timing to locate Karim Ali, who will set away on this right-hand wing. I'd like to just seen him just swipe at it. Took a little bit too long to make his decision. Nice little pass from Tommy Mickelson out to Adam Sevenoaks.
Not quite enough pace on that to get across to Ebanks.
Oscar Spink's trying to find a way through. Wearing that captain's armband fairly uniquely for a team in the National League. They rotate who wears it for each of their games.
I guess maybe it's because they've not got one player who's got lots more experience than the other, so they kind of don't have one player to rely on. They all rely on each other.
I'm sure the coaches are constantly analysing performances and leadership qualities, and they want to kind of put pressure on their players to see how they perform, how they lead the others, how they communicate. And it wouldn't be surprise me if they're kind of doing this as a trial to figure out who they think is the best fit.
Somebody that is in control of the game, maybe, that can make those, kind of makes the decisions.
Nice pass from Adam Sevenoaks, likewise from Tommy Mickelson, out to Jack Ebanks, who switches the play, attacked by Adam Sevenoaks. That would have been a brilliant goal. Good save from Jay Pixon. Yeah, it didn't necessarily need Jack Ebanks to follow it in at the left-hand post. I think he should have trusted Adam Sevenoaks to just continue that attack, but a bright spell nonetheless for GBG Saracens.
I mean, even with GBG Saracens' newer players, they've still got the likes of Adam Sevenoaks and Ebanks, who have played in the National League quite a lot before, both for Bournemouth and West Brom, I think. So they have that kind of bit more experience than the other players in their team.
Yeah. I think classification is a consideration for GBG Saracens, because I was calling for Tommy Mickelson and Avery Basin-Ball to feature together, but I understand the worth of having Fred Body between the sticks as well. So with multiple more PF2s than they do have PF1s, have to be considerate of that, because I think Ollie Grafton is a PF2. If anyone knows Avery Basin-Ball's classification, please let me know. And then Tommy Mickelson peppering shots into the side of Jay Pixton.
I think he might be a 2, but I'm not 100%.
If he's a 2, it would make sense. It would make sense why they are almost unable to use them together.
Good pass, but not quite the end.
Just escapes Jack Ebanks. Obviously, both of these teams were present in the draw of the John Good Group WFA Cup. Manchester City have got a home tie against Teesside Steel. GBG Saracens will have to play a preliminary round against Sevenoaks Acorns. Should they progress through that, they will play Norwich City. What did you think of the draw, Ben? You obviously, as Nottingham Forest, you received a bye to round 2. Would you have wanted to play in round 1?
I kind of wanted to play, but then we get to the round 2, 3 so it's not the worst.
And you'll play the winner of Altrincham or Leeds Dynamos, won't you? But one thing, for those unaware, any teams exiting in the preliminary round 1 and round 2 stage will now enter the John Group WF8 Vars, a new competition that has been established to give non-Premiership sides something to fight towards. So it's really exciting. Yeah, Troy's confirmed that Avery is a 2, so it makes complete sense why they're fairly restricted with regards to player selections and why they can't field Fred Boddy, Tommy Mickelson and Avery Basinball together, because that as a trio particularly is really exciting. You add Ollie Grafton to that, I think they're all PF2s, but something that they could potentially field in the WFA Cup with classification rules not applying to that competition. Very exciting. But then again, do you want to do that knowing you can't do that in the National League? You want to do what you can to upskill your players as best as possible. As Tommy Mickelson fires an effort goal bound. GBG Saracens are the better of the two teams, certainly the more attacking of the two.
Definitely had more chances.
It goes from one end to the other, out for a goal kick. This has been a very good game, very strategical, closely fought fixture. I think it's a fairly comprehensive scoreline on Court B, or certainly it was in my eye line. I think it's actually just 1-0 to Altrincham. Hull having an incredibly tough time, rooted to the floor of the standings. Not necessarily relegation in the Championship division. Whoever finishes in 12th and 11th may be drawn into a playoff competition, as you've experienced for the last few years, Ben.
Yeah.
Jay Pixton
trying to get maybe it far away from the chair to try and get a pick.
Lucas is the option, and it falls to him. It was clear, but Fred Boddy does brilliantly well to restrict, and he just tries to force it over the line. Slightly too aggressive from Lucas Vezra O'Brien. Like to see him just be a little bit more patient, but it's positive nonetheless. Really like Fred Boddy as a player. I think it's clear why they're opting for him to be between the sticks. That's a nice pass out to Adam Sevenoaks, who is going to strike it first time across the box. Maybe the two-touch 180 would have been the preferred option. Either way, all stemmed from that initial free kick. Yeah, massively.
Free kick it was, actually.
Ebanks over to Tommy Mickelson, exchanging on the edge. He's going to return the play and strikes towards goal. Jay Pixton just seems to read every ball.
Yeah, and even when they get up here, they seem every time they get up top, up to the opposition's goal, it seems to be stemming from Pixton just driving it up. City haven't really got the passing going yet.
No, they haven't. They'll desperately want to win here, but it doesn't look like they're really trying to win, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a long game. They've got another half where they'll look to grind down and work their way up the court. But in terms of goal-scoring opportunities, it's mainly being spearheaded by Tommy Mickelson at the moment. Adam Sevenoaks has been bright. Just intrigued to see what sort of changes they make. Tommy Mickelson. Nearly 50 people watching this fixture, which is fantastic to see. Huge thank you to everyone tuning in on YouTube. At the conclusion of Game Week 2, we will be conducting our Swizzles Awards, so you can vote on your Player of the Weekend, Unsung Hero of the Weekend, Team of the Weekend, and Fantasy Team of the Weekend. If I was to ask you right now, Ben, Player of the Weekend, from what you've seen, who would you select?
I definitely think Pixton will definitely be one of them.
For sure.
I definitely think maybe some of the players from Notts, maybe one of the Adam or...
Yeah, I don't disagree.
They always seem to...
I think Leeds are having quietly a brilliant weekend.
I definitely think Liam Chadwick, definitely, I feel like, after playing them yesterday, I couldn't get past him.
No, he's
Yeah.
incredibly difficult to play against
Was
anyway.
definitely one of between Pixton and Liam Chadwick, because I haven't really watched many of the other matches, so I'm not 100% sure. But from the matches I've seen, I would say.
No, that's great. Anyway, thank you to everyone that's tuning in. We'll be back very shortly for the second half. Hello everyone and welcome back to the second half of a GBG Saracens versus Manchester City. You're joining myself, Ryan Sipple, alongside Ben Rogers.
Hello.
For the second half. And we are officially underway. Just had the correction that Ollie Grafton is a PF1. So I'd like to see him feature in this second half. We're going to go through the squads.
Oh, very good pass up there. Sevenoaks to hit. Ooh.
We have Fred Body, Tommy Mickelson.
Ali on the attack.
Jackie Banks and Adam Sevenoaks. And for Manchester City, Jay Pixton. Now Sebastian Spink, Kareem Ali and James Simpson. So double substitute for City as Kareem Ali looks to combine. Well read by Tommy Mickelson. Frantic start, Ben.
Yeah, they're starting to try and pass a bit more now, City. I think
Sorry, that was really nice intent from Kareem Ali, driving on, trying to use his front bumper to force it over to the alternate wing. Positive signs. As the ball placed for Sebastian Spink.
Looks like Hull have scored on the opposite court.
Yeah. Bring confirmation of that if it's confirmed, but here Fred Body takes possession.
City are definitely trying to put them under some pressure at the start of this half. Maybe they're trying to think that they need to get a goal sooner rather than later. Oh, very good pass behind Ebanks there.
Lovely connection from James Simpson. You can see the intent of Kareem Ali. He's going to drive on, use his front bumper to force it over the line. I think you can just see, certainly with James Simpson, that transition into a strike force, how sharp and clean his contact. Likewise with Seb Spink, they're turning on the style. We asked questions of them in the first half, Ben, about their attacking intent, how they didn't look like they really wanted to win the game. That can't be applied to this second half. They are really going for this.
Yeah, they definitely got doing a lot more passing this half, moving Saracens around a lot more, trying to open up those shooting chances.
Seb Spink and James Simpson just communicating. Not quite sure what the intent is here, as he just backs off, indirect. Kareem Ali in a nice amount of space on that top right-hand corner. He's the one that Seb Spink opts to find. Side swipe off of Fred Body. Brilliant defending. Not just the clearance, but the way in which he angled his chair to ensure that it went out of danger.
Yeah, that was a very good chance for City there. But the defending was very good.
Paul, that answers my question as to where Mr. John Dixon is, the head coach of GBG Saracens. He's at Aspire training, preparing for a very important game week 2 in the Premiership. Hello to everyone from Aspire tuning in. It's Tommy Mickelson down the line, just cut out by Kareem Ali. What a fantastic game of football this has been. Adam Sevenoaks just needs to have a little bit more direction and purpose on those intentions.
Yeah, probably could have maybe run onto that ball and taken it towards goal.
Just wonder, will GBG Saracens look to that bench? You can understand the reluctance to do so at the moment with it being so finely poised. One thing I'm fascinated to see this season, come the conclusion, is who picks up that Young Player of the Season award.
There are definitely so many
There is
players.
so many. Even on this court alone, you've got, considering the benches, you've got upwards of 6, 7, 8 considerations and eligible players. Lovely switch from Tommy Mickelson. Why
Very good pass.
Jack Ebanks just didn't stay in reverse there. I'm not quite sure. Had he done so, he would have been able to just see it down the left-hand channel as you're viewing it into Kareem Ali. I think you hit the nail on the head in the first half, Ben. Even with some of the nil-nils, they're some of the best games. Don't be fooled by the scoreline and think you need goals to see drama, to see action, to see quality. This has probably been one of my favourite games to watch all weekend.
Yeah, generally the nil-nils mean the teams are both very well matched and they're both attacking, both making chances.
Assuming that is the case and they are both going for the win, yeah, it does facilitate a that's a lovely pass from Tommy Mickelson, but Adam Sevenoaks just took a wide arc. Would like to see him just be a little bit more compact, but putting himself in some fantastic areas. So as I did say in the first half, it was a comprehensive scoreline for Altrincham. It's now been confirmed 4-1 they lead Hull and East Yorkshire. Huge result for Altrincham, who have Jack Johnson and Mason Davies back. Mason Davies sent off yesterday against Teesside Steel. First red card of the Championship division. As Seb Spink down to James Simpson, across the box, over to Kareem Ali, just slightly too deep, so can't get the purchase he would have wanted.
Ebanks can't quite manage to get past Seb Spink. Trying to dribble it into the net there. Maybe trying to get a pass off.
Strong play from Tommy Mickelson, flicks it towards Seb Spink. 2-on-1 in favour
of Saracens,
yeah.
I think, too. And the goalkeeper came out the box.
This is a good opportunity. Adam Sevenoaks to take. It's very congested, however. There isn't a gap to the right-hand side of Jack Ebanks, so surely it can only go to Tommy Mickelson. I'd like to see him push towards Jay Pixton instead. I'm not quite sure what they're going to go for. Tommy Mickelson into the centre. It ricochets off the back of Jay Pixton. Conversations with the officials.
It may have been a 2-on-1 between.
It was very, very compact, but the goal is given. I think it's going to go down as an own goal. Let me watch it back just to confirm.
I don't know if it came off Ebanks last. Or
no, came off Jay Pixton, which is really unfortunate. That is a huge goal for GBG Saracens.
We're probably going to see City come out a bit more now. They're going to have to go for the goal.
I hope that is the case. Seb Spink into Kareem Ali, looking to right that wrong straight away.
We might see Saracens maybe trying to see the game out now. But they're still attacking, looking for that.
I love that. Don't change your approach just because you've got the goal. What you've been doing in the 28, 29 minutes played has worked. James Simpson can't get the connection.
Oh, takes a shot.
Neither on the secondary effort.
Was going for the far post there, but on the near post actually. But City get a corner from it.
It's going to be taken by James Simpson. Patiently waiting. Kareem Ali, probably the clearer option, but it has to go through the defensive wall of Saracens if it's to meet him. Off a very stationary Tommy Mickelson. So James Simpson into Seb Spink. Nothing to really trouble.
Tries to squeeze it through the gap, but there's no gap there.
Yeah, Fred Body brilliantly placed. Simpson happy to let that roll out of play, just to reset.
Yeah, City are quite dangerous on their set pieces, so it's probably best for them to keep getting more.
I think Seb Spink just needed to be a metre or two deeper towards his own goal there, just to give a little bit more time and angle.
Ebanks trying to get around that ball, can't quite.
Tommy Mickelson.
Mickelson, maybe a shot? Ooh.
I like the intent from Tommy Mickelson, but just needed to take 10-20% of power off of it. It's going to be a double change for GBG Saracens. That is very interesting. I would have assumed that they would just kind of stick with the system that's tried and tested, but Avery Bazin-Ball comes on in place of Tommy Mickelson. I did say in that first half I felt Avery Bazin-Ball defensively was probably the more solid of the two players,
Yeah.
but Tommy Mickelson the more attacking, the more proficient technically, higher up the court. So maybe that has played into that substitute.
Yeah, maybe they're thinking being defensively sound is better than attacking.
And Ollie Grafton on in place of Adam Sevenoaks. Intrigued to see him. And as he's in front of us, I can confirm he is that PF1. So I'd actually like to see him feature more. Obviously, this is only his second ever weekend at National League level, as it is with Avery Bazin-Ball and Fred Body, Tommy Mickelson. So I don't want to put too much pressure on too early. But one thing is for certain, the future is incredibly bright for this squad. Seb Spink. Off the back of James Simpson's chair, so Jack Ebanks just forces it up.
Maybe trying to get it to Ollie Grafton.
Yeah, nice pass from Ollie Grafton. His first involvement opens up the court. Avery Bazin-Ball desperately trying to take that position on the wing. Can we see a little bit of experience from this inexperienced side now, Ben, whereby they manage the game, they kind of wind that clock down, they frustrate City. Like instances like that, try and fire that off of Seb's chair rather than have a go.
It looked like it came off, but it was just away, so it didn't quite. It's a goal kick instead. Maybe try and get it up the pitch and keep it there. Slow down the game a little bit.
Exactly that. Exactly that. If they have a territory up high, keep it up high.
Limit City's chances to score.
Avery Bazin-Ball. All the way back to Fred Body.
Ali can't keep it in there.
Yeah, it's unlucky from Kareem Ali. Fred Body to take. Into down
Very
this chat.
good.
Yeah, really nice. It goes all the way through. I don't think Ollie Grafton was quite expecting it.
Maybe if he could have expected that, maybe taking it on the 180.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's just a little bit of inexperience being shown. Had he just continued reversing dead straight, he would have been able to engage that in a 180. Once again, the initial distribution from Fred Body, absolutely fantastic.
Ebanks trying to get it all the way up, but he can't quite keep it in.
This is a good performance from GBG Saracens. They're managing this game brilliantly. .34 minutes played. They lead Manchester City by a goal to nil. Into the 180 of Jack Ebanks. Cushioned to Grafton via Avery Bazin-Ball. A shot on goal.
Not
Cleared.
Quite enough power to get it in the net there.
Avery Bazin-Ball just managing it, just keeping it locked up. Thing is with Ollie Grafton, it's just a little bit too forced. There's no need to do that. There's no need to attempt efforts that clearly aren't there.
Maybe on the second one he could have controlled it, maybe
Absolutely.
tried to get it back into the middle.
Not even that. Maybe just put your chair between yourself and the ball, and then Man City have to force it off of you.
Yeah.
When there's minutes left on the clock.
There's no point rushing.
No. Jay Pixton, can he spearhead something late on? Into Seb Spink. He was trying to act as that screen out to Kareem Ali.
Ebanks just knew what was going to happen and made sure it didn't.
Jack Ebanks has quietly had a fantastic game, by the way. Just managing it, using his experience. He is the inexperience in the inexperienced side. And our GBG Saracens on course for their first ever win in the National League. They sit just 4 minutes away, and you have to say they're fantastic value for it. Man City look out of answers.
Spink's just trying to get that. Oh.
Can understand that decision from the referee, and you can see Seb Spink pounding his armrest because they're not organised in attack, and they're all muddled up in terms of their positions. Avery Bazin ball to take. Again,
very good pass there.
It is just fantastic distribution from deep. That will be a real asset to their game across this season. I've seen players with far more experience struggle in that area of the court, but straight away it just relieves all pressure on their defence, and they can build on that.
They don't need to take this kick in very fast. They can take their time.
And exactly what I said. Manage it. There's no need to force it, and that's what I want to see from Ollie Grafton here. Doesn't necessarily even need to be try to be threaded through to Jack Ebanks, but that's what they're trying to do.
Wasn't really a gap there. But Saracens win the kick-in.
They do. There hasn't been a dip in quality with the substitutes for Saracen. They're picked up where the previous duo left off, which is fantastic to see, which shows that consistency, that continuity in their squad. They're now just 2 minutes away. Can Avery Bazin ball ensure that they do get that win? Jackie Banks trapped, pushes it into the path of Ollie Grafton, a shot on goal, and squeezes it in. A fantastic finish from Ollie Grafton. It came from Avery Bazin ball, pushes it down to Jackie Banks. And GBG Saracens are going to get their first ever win in the National League. Fantastic stuff.
Sorry. That was a good goal. I mean, squeezed it through that tiny gap, and I think that may have sealed it for GBG Knights now. Not GBG Knights, sorry, Saracens.
They have adopted the most perfect of game plans, and they are fantastic value for this 3 points. This has been my favourite game to watch. Man City gave everything in that first half, but almost out of nowhere, GBG Saracens look so experienced, so they've got the know-how as it goes into the 180 of Jack Ebanks, looking for a third. We question whether they could get their first win. Now they're looking for a rout. Player of the match, please, Ben. Tough task, actually.
I'm going to give it to probably Tommy Mickelson. Just because of that. The first goal was really well set up, and he managed to get it up there and get the attacking done. And even though it wasn't his goal, he was the one that caused it to go in. So I think I'll give it to Tommy Mickelson.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have given it to
You could give it to any one of those GBG Saracens players. I think Fred Body has been fantastic. I think Avery Basinball and Tommy Mickelson, as those central players, have... This is their best ever National League game, without question. I think Jack Ebanks, as mentioned earlier, quietly had a fantastic game. He's just come off for his brother Aaron. So many positives, and they will secure their win. I'll bring up the live league standings at the conclusion so you can see how that impacts things at the bottom. goal here will be nothing more than a consolation for Manchester City. And that is it. The loudest cheer you will hear all weekend from the mezzanine here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. It's GBG Saracens 2, Manchester City 0. Live league table up on your screens now. You can see that that win doesn't do anything in terms of their placement, but point accumulation puts them on the same amount of points as yourself in Nottingham Forest.
Yep.
2 behind Manchester City and 3 behind West Bromwich Albion Baggies. So a huge win. Congratulations to them. Thank you so much, Ben, for joining me for this one. I'm up next for Nottinghamshire versus Teesside, a huge clash at the top of the division.